Hello loves, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So for today's video, I am super excited to be sharing this tip with you guys. For the longest time, I have been personally mixing colored acrylics. It is really frustrating when a client comes in and asks for a specific color and you do not have it. It's extremely hard to accumulate every single color ever made. So I do highly recommend you guys try this out for yourself and you can save a little bit of money. That being said, I'm also doing a giveaway on this video. The question for today's giveaway is, what products have I recommended to you that you have tried out? And what are your thoughts on them? Comment down below your answer. Let me know. Let's get right into the video. So when creating a custom color, I like to swatch my options beforehand. So here, as you can see, I'm just swatching a few different shades of orange and peach just to kind of see which ones I like to combine to create my custom color. So I'm taking this little jar that I purchased off of Amazon. They are linked in my Amazon storefront. I use them to mix colors and glitters. If you guys are interested, make sure you check it out. So now I'm just taking that coral pink and pouring it into my jar, and then I'm adding just a tiny bit of neon orange. When mixing colors, this is all preference. You have to eyeball it yourself. I can't tell you the exact measurements that I use because I really just pour in a little bit at a time, swatch the color, and then if it needs any adjusting, I go ahead and do that. This is a kind of guess and check for me. Once you get the color down, of course, you can memorize the proportions or whatever you're using. You're more than welcome to measure them out. I don't do that because every client has their own specific colors that they want to achieve. So I went ahead and swatched in. I do think I need to add a little bit more of the orange. I want to do it on the brighter side. I love the neutral peach tones, but I did want to do a brighter peach for this set. Again, I'm just mixing it up very, very well. Now I'm putting my lid on and just shaking it up, making sure that both colors are blended very well together. You can do this with any colors that you want. I always mix my burgundies, my maroons. I've mixed gray tones, brown colors. You really just need to know what colors look well together and then go ahead and use that. So here I am taking Last Love, and it has more of that yellow tone to it. So I did decide to add a little pinch of that into my mix just to give it more of the yellow tone. And I did really like how this color turned out, so I went ahead and left it like this. So for this video, I am focusing on this part of the acrylic mixing and the nail art. I have tons of videos on ombre tutorial, marble tutorials, and just regular application videos, so I wanted just to focus on the nail art instead of boring you guys with the same application process that I normally do. So getting right into it, I am going to be taking two very small beads of acrylic, placing them onto the nail and forming a more of a chunky heart. This is definitely not as defined as a heart, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The peach kind of has that shape to it, and that is exactly what I'm trying to mimic here. So once I place those in the form of a heart, I am taking my brush and I'm going to be creating a little crease down the middle. It's more or less off center. So what you want to do is try to create that curve that a regular peach has. So I'm just making sure with the tip of my brush, I'm just carving that out, and then I'm flattening out the sides a little bit. I don't like my 3D nail art to be super sticking out of the nail. So I'm making sure that I'm pressing it down to make it as flat as possible. So this is the first option that you have to create this. Now I'm going to show you the second option, and I do like the second option better because it's just easier. So I'm applying one side of the heart, if we want to call it that, and then I'm going to flatten it out. Make sure that the left side is a little bit more on the flat side because I'm going to be layering more acrylic on there. So I'm just flattening it out some, making sure that it's more on the dry side before I apply my second bead. Once it's dry enough, I go ahead and apply the left side of my heart. So what this does is it's not going to bleed into the right side of the heart as easy because it's not wet. So if you wait until the right side is dry, it will ensure that that little curved line stays pretty much intact and it doesn't bleed into the right side, if that made any sense. So I'm just making sure that I make it just a tiny bit more defined, just in case any of that product ran into the right side. Now I'm going to do that exact same thing on the rest of the little peaches, starting out with my right side and then doing my left side. And this is a 3D nail art brush from Amazon. Make sure you check it out. It is linked in my Amazon storefront, which will be in my description box. Now that I have created my little peaches, I am using Feeling Lucky from Not Polished. So basically I'm just taking the tiniest little bead of acrylic, placing that onto the nail, and then just forming a tiny little leaf. And I'm going to repeat this on all of the peaches. Now I went ahead and mixed a brown color. I know red and green work really well together to make brown, but I did mix a bunch of different colors because I couldn't find my green. So I mixed this brown, and I'm taking one of my nail art brushes from Profiles Backstage. I will link it down below. This nail art brush comes in a pack of 3 and they are super cute. So I'm just taking that and making a tiny little stem onto each of my peaches. Now using that same gel paint, I am lightly dragging it in between the crease of the peach. What this does, and the reason why I'm doing this, is just to make sure that you can notice that crease and it gives it the more realistic look of a peach. Adding that dimension to it definitely helps the design, so I do highly recommend you guys do not skip this step. It will help a ton. You can also use acrylic to create this. I just didn't have my brown acrylic here with me. That's the only reason why I'm using gel paint. Otherwise, I probably would have used colored acrylic for the stem and the dimension as well. And of course, this is gel paint, so I'm making sure I put it in the lamp for at least 30 seconds so it cures. Now I'm taking my lint-free wipe and some swipe and just making sure there's no tacky layer left behind. Now I am adding some crystals just to give it a little bit of pop. I'm using my Young Nails brush on glue and applying that around the cuff area. And then I'm applying my crystals using just a wax crystal tool. I am gently applying those. So what I like to do, that middle crystal is always the biggest. And then I work my size down to the sides of the nails. Kind of taper it down the side. Once I'm content with the placement and everything is nice and dry, I am taking Matte It from Not Polish and applying that onto the index finger. And I'm also going to be applying that onto the nail that has the peaches. For the rest of the nails, I am using Gloss It from Not Polish. I had somebody recommend me do some shiny, some matte. So here you go, girl. Sorry I didn't catch your name, but I did decide to incorporate this in my video. And I did really like how it came out. Make sure you are curing your top coat for 60 seconds. I like to cure mine for at least 2 minutes, just to make sure everything is nice and sealed. And I am going very, very gently around each of the peaches. I don't like to apply top coat on any of my 3D nail art, as it does remove the texture that comes with 3D nail art, and I don't like doing that. That's definitely my personal preference. You can top coat it if you'd like. Basically concludes this video. Do not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.